Hi guys, Scatlink here. Welcome to my modding showcasing sub-series, Hats Off to You, a series of which we try out community-created hats, costumes, functions, singular levels, full chapters, or time rifts created by the Hat in Time fan community via the Steam Workshop. This will also include any challenge roads of which will have their own video dedicated to earning ourselves a trophy, of which would otherwise be permanently missed. It is May, and as you know, a few things on the YouTubing space, VTuber space, went down. I wonder if you can see what I've cobbled together from what I have. Champion tunic with the Dino Sprint hat flare. I guess you can see what I'm going for, because why not? But hey, April has passed, we're now in May, it's approaching summer again, who knows what they'll be doing for the summer event. But we're on challenge mode 63. And it's actually not that bad of a one. We just have a couple of tricky jumps in the third level, but these levels are pretty short, so it won't take us too long. But we do, in fact, have some tokens to spend. I've already got one spin. And what we have is only 4 tokens collectible in the Mountaintop Village. And then obviously the mod timepieces / mod rift tokens for the 3 levels total. So first of all, we have the Overgrown Rift by Novalink. This time rift has become completely overtaken by plants, trees, and other planty things. Also crows are here too, I guess. I made this to try making a mod level for my first time, so sorry if it's a bit lackluster. Huge thanks to LC's modding tutorial series. LC/LCL is a modder that we have seen plenty of, and her own player model is hanging out in the engine room right now, as we've seen before. I have not done many live streams on this since then. I probably should do so at some point, but I'm just waiting for whatever next creator DLC happens, because it's still the one disc, or Project A. But for now, we've also got the Mountaintop Village next, which is by Source Mama. Special thanks to Bonacle for helping me figure out the cell shading system, a simple single-time rift level with a bit of aesthetic flair. As I said, there are 4 tokens to collect in this level, and they're pretty easy to not miss. At certain points you will see the glow. They all glow, just so you know. And finally, we have Just Get Going. Hello, this is my first mod. You'll need the hookshot and no bonk badge to complete it by Twist Wit. Though you may be wondering, why did I call my first level Just Get Going? Well, it's the first thing that popped into my head. Hope you enjoy. And with that, there's not much else to say other than press the wrong button and go into the Steam page. I meant to press the B button. Sorry for that cut. Let's get into it. So, although it's not related to what's happening right now in terms of this video, in fact, this video is also a little bit late because I've been sorting out things in my own personal life that is kind of required, car-related issues. But that's all been sorted, and it wasn't too much of an issue in terms of it being negative. It was just, you know, sorting out a new finance. But other than that, yeah, Guagura left. That's a thing. Didn't really watch her much, but she was one of the more popular VTubers of Hololive, and yeah, that kind of took the internet by storm. So I thought, yeah, I'll make Hat Kid look like that. I haven't actually checked to see if there's any mods about it, but yeah, I'm not talking about the mod right now, but I'm also just mentioning other stuff like the fact that that's the reason why, in terms of sorting out my car, why I haven't done stuff recently. But I also wanted to make mention of the, well, there's always been a summer event, and so far we've had 2, and the previous one, even when I was ill while doing it, that was a slog. I hope the level up system doesn't come back, but if it does, I hope it stays the same, so I don't actually have to recover everything. It'll just be, hopefully, in the same order as what my file is. So as you can see, we've got like these mushrooms that are sending us up into these treetops here. In fact, without falling and landing on my buttocks, I'm gonna go for these ponds again. That'll be the safest way down here. There we go. At least I grabbed those again. And we got some health. Very nice. The first part was kinda average. But yeah, look at these trees. They're actually going above the water surface from the rift that we are in. So let's make our way over here real quick. Swing along these spores, I guess. Take the zip line all the way up here, and we are dangerously close to the top. In fact, we're almost at the end of this rift already. A nice simple little rift with quite a lot of tree aesthetics. And the alpine aesthetics are going to basically come into full force. So, in a way, there's kind of some sort of cohesiveness between these three levels. We're climbing trees right now in order to escape a rift that will lead to the Alps. And I do mean that literally, because we are at the top of this rift. And I do mean that literally. We cannot leave the rift unless we get the timepiece it's tied to. If I make my way to this tree here, the surface is literally on top of my head. And I can't jump through it. It's solid. Bet you never knew that, did you? Let's get out of here. Of course, the Overgrown Rift would give us a Roulette spin, because it is in fact a rift, just with additional features. Well, again, it's only dependent on if the level is programmed to be that way, because it could look like a rift, but not actually give you a spin. Starship Mario. I guess we know what that's going to be like. Out with the birds and into the Alps. We're now above the clouds. Was that the Cloud Sea from Xenoblade 2? Who knows? Could have been. But we're quite high up now. And it's looking like it's sunset, which is a very nice Twilight kind of feel. And they did say something about messing about with the cell shading. But guess what? The very first spire that has this blowhorn that we need to interact with has a token just down the side of it, so there's no way that you can miss it with this camera pan that is required on the first visit. So before we head over there, we'll just jump down and grab that token immediately. Obviously, if this is your second time playing through the level, you will not be able to blow the horn, because it would have already been activated. But there's no way that you can't miss that, because the camera pan literally shows you its location. We can explore this island if you want to. Or spire, should I say. There's not really any reason to. If you need any extra health, you can blow up the debris around here. Let's go get our Easter bunny ears, because, again, for some reason I never got that. So we're still getting all the ammo from the cave story hat, which is there, the soldier gear. Or you can just equip the weapons yourself. Kind of interesting. But we don't need to worry about that for now. We need to make our way across, so we can just hookshot this, jump across. Climb up. Lovely stuff. And, oh, hello there. That's a little bit sneaky. You may not be able to actually see the glow unless you were, like, coming straight from the edge of there, from that tree, perhaps? But yeah, next to the house, before you take the zip line, there is another token. So make sure you don't miss that one if you are wanting for additional spins in the Roulette. As you know, I'm covering everything. That's just how I do. Filling in the empty space with gobbledygook, because I have to leave the graphic on screen for a little bit for you guys to read. And I like to do it while the the text box is on screen. Onwards! We're kind of going around where we want to go, actually. A little bit annoying. Oh. Well, there's another glow, literally right there. No, again, not really any way that we can miss that, considering of the rainbow glow. So, as soon as we get off the first zip line, go to the left instead of the right, because that's where the rest of the level is. My Luma's just floating. Yeah, I'm still keeping the Luma on. I don't think I'm actually going to remove it, because it's kind of useful. Especially if it's stuff that you can't see in the immediate area, because it will just zoom toward the target that you're looking at. It's very useful, especially with the brewing hat, because... Are you actually going to lock onto that one? No? Okay, fair enough. Oh, okay. It locks on when you're charging it up, so it can kind of see where you're aiming. Speaking of, though, of aiming, this one's a little bit awkward. We want to, like, do this. And then hookshot this again so we don't fall. So what I did there was a let go charge, double jump, let go of charge, wall climb, and then wall jump back into the hookshot in order to try and, you know, get the bomb high enough to explode that block without falling. It's a bit awkward, but hopefully I explained that very well. There's some hooks going across there, but they weren't near the house that we just were at with that token. And we can't progress any further over here. Best thing to do is get some height. We're not going to make that. That is not a solid platform. That is part of the wall. So we're just going to have to make a jump. Stretch it out for as long as possible. We can just barely make it to the outer edge of those ponds. I'm not getting any health, which is a little bit unfortunate, but then again, I'm at full health. Oh, yeah, I am. Okay, cool. Blow the horn. Summon the zipline. Lovely. I like how the rest of it just snaps into position. Let's head down here and swing over to that zipline that we just activated. Stay off the floor so we don't get launch pecked. Thankfully, we can just jump across these trees perfectly fine. Let's take the zipline. Let's try and head toward the middle here. Well, there's a token literally right there. Again, all 4 tokens, not exactly hard to miss. Except for maybe the second one. As I mentioned already, it's a little bit sneaky, but as long as you're high up, you'll probably see it from below. So let's make our way through these houses here. There it be. Let's grab that. And the timepiece to get out of here, which will be another token outside of the Chand Road, is just above us. So we got those pretty fast. Yeah, as I said, these levels aren't really that long, which is perfect for spending my tokens in the River Roulette. You thought you could dodge your fate, my good man? Get out of it. And because it's just nothing but clouds, you don't even hear him splat. It's right above us. Can we be cheeky? Actually, can I be cheeky? I tried to press the hookshot button, it would not let me. So you can't get enough height there in order to trick out a hookshot target there. You have to, unfortunately, go the long way round. Wait, is that a spring? Yeah, but it doesn't get us up all the way. Yeah, there's no way. So we're going to, unfortunately, have to come back on ourselves. So let's swing over this way. That was the wrong hat. Got him. All I wanted to do was blow these up. Hey, hop on. Lovely stuff. Right. Jump across these platforms, but we do need brewing hat. Jump, sling, double jump, get over it and across. Try not to get launched. How did you get on top of there? And that was targeting the wrong bird, unfortunately, but now we're good. It's leading us to this zipline, but it looks like it's going to take us just high enough to get up there. So once again, stretch out a double jump, lunge. Bully crow, we don't want to deal with you. Oh, I did not realise I grabbed the ledge. I was trying to home attack there. Tons of ponds that I just don't need because I've got over 20 grand. Kick you off. Almost as worth as my new car. Alright. What we got to do now is just swing on over here. Now, don't jump immediately into the I was about to say time rift, timepiece. If you need some health, because you can just blow up the barrels first. But I've got max health, so it's fine. We can move on to the most difficult of the 3, and most fittingly so. Those vertical spinning blocks, we got a wall jump off those. We went from a time rift into the Alps, back into another time rift. But it's a lot more basic in terms of aesthetics. But that doesn't mean that it's easy. As I said, those vertical blocks are going to be the major issue here. Where's the next hook? There you are. Kind of reminds me of the Haunted Wasteland of Ocarina of Time, where you got to find the next flag in order to get past the first part. Alright, this looks a little bit awkward. Actually kind of simple. Ignore everything, just jump through, double jump, lunge, and hookshot that. Much simpler. Get enough height, double jump, lunge, cancel. I did not make it or trigger the thing, and I couldn't hookshot the hook again either, which was unfortunate. Just didn't get the height. Where are you? There you are. Toward this clock tower. Let's try it again. We have 3 lives, so it's not too bad, but I shouldn't need them, really. Just going to jump on here, then go underneath, lunge. I got stuck. That wasn't ideal. There we are. That time I got the height necessary. Right. Time stop is actually a good idea for this. So that they don't keep rotating. Unfortunately, the camera loves to implode. But we should have enough momentum in order to get up to the top, which is very nice. But this is where it gets really difficult. These are the difficult parts of the level. These rotation blocks. Well, this one's... Thank you, camera, for snapping. I didn't tell you to do that. This block doesn't rotate. It's the next one that rotates, but it just means that you got to double, jump, lunge, do that, and then land on the platform like that. But because of that gate, the camera implodes right when you're falling, so you don't actually know if you're safe or not until you realise that you avoided out or not. Camera, what are you doing? Stop doing that, please. Just because there's a wall in the way doesn't mean you have to immediately get in between Hatkid and the wall. Major gripe with this game still, and it still hasn't been patched out. And it's the only major gripe I have, except for maybe the wall climbing, which they have tweaked in a few updates over the years, but I still have troubles. Right. And what I got to do is do that, and then hookshot that. There we are. That's the toughest point in the level for me, honestly. Especially that particular block. Do I need health? No. Normally the health bar stays on screen. Now, here's the thing. All you really need to do is hookshot that flag of the zipline just to finish the level. If you can get past this gate, because if we do all these offshoots, all that happens is that the gate falls, allowing you to just, you know, go in that direction unhindered. But from here, you can really easy cheese it by just landing here and then making your way across here, do a double jump, and then you can easily hookshot that. Let me show you how you do it normally, so you know that I'm not, you know, speaking a big game here. Let's go this way, since this was the first way that was already showing off. Yeah, that doesn't look pleasant with the shockwaves. Just barely out of range. I did get clipped by one of them. If I go for homing attacks, it should be mostly safe. There we are. Lovely. Every single one of these will have... Every single one of these pathways will have a little battle for you to deal with. Take out all the enemies in order to get rid of the cage. Blocking a pressure paddle. So that will basically need all 4 activated in order to get rid of this gate. 3, excuse me, not 4. Miscounted. Let me swing over this way. Double jump, lunge, cancel, stretch it out in order to make sure you make it. Home attack an enemy for safety. Lovely. I'll just do this real quick. Can I bomb you in midair? Yes, I can. Saves me trying to bait you out and then home attack you afterwards. Second button. Let's make our way back. You can void out. That is an option, but why would you want to do that to yourself? Don't need the time hat for this. I can just climb up really quickly without being able to see once again. Thank you, game. Rotating block once again. Just gonna not have the camera randomly snap. There wasn't anything. There was not... Okay, there is no protrusions on this block. Why does the camera keep... I actually fell because it kept doing it. There were no protrusions to confuse the camera. Why was that happening so often on that particular block? I don't understand. There was nothing in the way for the camera to get stuck on for that to happen. Camera! Every time! And what was I wall climbing on? Now all of a sudden the game is breaking because I paused for a second. What the heck is going on? Right. Not having that again. Stop that shenanigans, literally. Well, it's called the time stop hat, but it's more like time slowdown hat. Should have called it the inverted hat or something, I don't know. Obviously, there are mod hats that actually do stop time, but they don't have a cooldown either, so it's just, you know, cheating, as it were. So, I don't know. Oh, you don't do it on the way back? You're a funny game. Right. As I said, all it does is lower the gate down, so you would just be here anyway. But in fact, that makes it a little bit more difficult because I haven't got a higher vantage point, and I can still stand on the gate. Nothing stops you from doing that. So from that gear, you can just skip all that battling, and in my particular case, glitchy camera. But that is an easy challenge road, nice and complete. Again, except for the camera issues I was having. Now, let me go through these again for more tokens and potentially more spins. Which, I just remembered, that was a blue time rift. We do get a spin. So, I want to grab that real quick. I would like that remix more than anything. Yeah, you know what? We'll have new colours. Why not? Lovely stuff. Those 3 levels, very quickly to replay, especially since the Mountaintop Village already has the banners / ziplines, as I already mentioned. I will take a remix. I got a remix earlier. That means I can still show off the die that I just got here. We'll claim that. The Toilet of Doom Great Mighty Pooh remix. For he's gonna throw some shit at you. And there's the costume that we got, the buy flag from previously, so I can at least show that off as well. Before we see that we have our 63rd Challenge Road trophy. Now, I want to apologise for that mini pause, just because I received a DM and I needed to check that, and that was right before I had my camera problems in Just Get Going, so, you know, that's a little bit awkward, but that wasn't entirely intended. But yeah, we have 10 tokens, so we can at least use 9 of those for some spins, so that sounds like a fine dandy thing to do, since we have a little bit of extra time on our hands. So let's go run over here real quick, flippity-doo-dah, and heck yeah with the tokens, let's get some more spins. Spin! I like that colour. It reminds me of Wario. Non-binary flag, so we're still getting all these flags, so we'll equip that and have a little look at that. Yep, it is, it's actually pretty close to Hackid's normal colours, actually. It's just a little bit more Wario purple than anything else. But it gives us black hair, which is quite nice. I do actually like that. Kind of works better with the checkerboard hat that we have as well, to be fair. 2 more rolls. That's all purple. Yeah, we'll go for something else. Chocolate. Pure brown. Well, speaking of the Great Mighty Pooh. Actually, considering that it's more darker than what it is in the icon, it actually does look like that we have just been dipped in chocolate. It's not as bright of a brown as I thought it was going to be. It's actually the same colour as our oak wood. Alright, let's go with one more spin. I actually want to know what that star die was. We've got a lot more of our pure dies to get through. I didn't actually realise we had that many in here. You know what? I'll take orange, because that's my kind of colour scheme. Let's go. Ah! I have been drenched in Tango Orange! Ha-ha! Look at that. And that is all the tokens we can spend, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I know it was a bit of a short one there, and I haven't done any more mods. Again, I've been doing other stuff, both in life and such. That seems to be a running thing these days. But I'm not entirely too sure if I will actually check out the Bird Island ones, because I mean, they are meme stuff. Maybe I should check them out at some point. Let me know if that is actually worth, but obviously the 5th one was in the Challenge Road, and I did enjoy that one. In fact, it actually makes me want to play the Alan Wake games. But I don't know if I'll do that like on the channel or something, or if I'll just do it in my own time. I only have access to the first game anyway through Steam Library Share, so that's just something that I want to make mention of right there. But yeah, I'm just like an orange gummy bear now, I guess. But yeah, that is going to be it for today. As I said, let me know what other mods you want me to do, and hopefully I'll be getting back to live streams in the, well, at the time of this video's creation, with Mother 3, as well as the new Ocarina of Time Chaos Edition. Yes, I am on that now, but I think I made it a bit too easy with the time intervals, but that's just fine-tuning for when we get to something totally new, like Majora's Mask Chaos Edition. Just kind of hinting a few things that we've been doing on the channel as of recent. At the time of this video's creation, obviously. I've just been basically using this as like a mini update video anyway. It's kind of what happens. It is relevant to the time because Challenge Roads are timed. But the next Challenge Road will be Challenge Road 64. I am expecting a certain theme. I mean, the game was kind of inspired by the likes of a certain mustachioed plumber. So I would assume that would be a thing. But we won't know until we get to next month. So I'll see you guys next time for that. See you guys then.